Here in the UK, there is a legal requirement which was set out by the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs for all keepers of birds, including pet birds and poultry, with a flock of over 50 to be registered with the Animal and Plant Health Agency. Due to the year-over-year increase in cases of bird influenza, as of the 1st of October 2024, the requirements for this law have now changed.
Hello and welcome aboard. A couple of things I want to talk about in this video. One being, about a week ago, I unfortunately lost 2 baby budgies within the space of 24 hours of each other, which is quite worrying and indeed concerning, because if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that I've had an abundance of baby budgies hatch over the last couple of months, which has actually forced my arm into trying to sell them online, which I didn't want to do, which leads me to point number 2. The other day, I had a rather heated text message debate with someone about the sale of 2 budgies, which, let's just say, it wasn't very nice. But we'll talk about that later, so make sure you stay to the end of the video and I'll talk about them. Right, okay, going back to the top of the video, the main topic. There is a legislation in place that requires all keepers of birds, including poultry, who have a flock of over 50 birds kept outside, to register your birds with A.P.H.A. Right, that is one. I'm going to go through the abbreviations of the agencies now and put them on screen so you can pause the video, have a look at them so you know exactly what I mean, because it's less confusing. So the first one is D.E.F.R.A, D.E.F.R.A, which stands for the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. Then I'll be mentioning A.P.H.A, A.P.H.A, which stands for Animal and Plant Health Agency. I might also mention a C.P.H. number, which stands for County Parish Holding Number, but I'll let you know about that. Right, okay, so going back to the beginning. Now, these rules were put in place by D.E.F.R.A a long time ago because of the constant threat and the ever increasing problem with AI. Now, I'm not going to call it AI because it's avian influenza, but obviously AI has been taken up with something else like more recently. So we'll just call it bird flu. So yeah, with the rise of bird flu, as we all know, every single season, every spring, we tend to be locking down our birds. Now, if you've had a flock of birds that's under 50, not really been an issue to you until D.E.F.R.A had a meeting, changed the rules, and now you have to register your birds as a keeper with A.P.H.A, even if it's under 50, so 1 to 49 birds. There are a couple of grey areas though, so bear with me. First of all, get this out of the way. If you're Mrs. Smith and you've got a budgie in your house in a cage, then skip the video, go somewhere else. You don't need to continue watching. It's not a problem. You don't need to register your bird. However, you might have to. So this is where it's a little bit of a grey area. So Mrs. Smith has a budgie in a cage, lives indoors. Not an issue. She doesn't have to register the bird with A.P.H.A. No issues at all. Unless she puts the bird out on the patio to get some fresh air. Then the budgie has to be registered, and so does Mrs. Smith. Now, the only exemption is if the bird is ill or something and has to travel to and from the vets, then she doesn't have to register the bird. But if you're going to take it outside, then you do. So again, a bit of a grey area. It's kind of like very difficult to understand. It's not difficult to understand. It is kind of straightforward. So basically, I have an aviary up my garden, which means it's an open air aviary in the garden. I have to register, which I have all my birds and myself with A.P.H.A. If my aviary was, say, contained, so say for instance this shed was a bird room and the doors were shut and I walked in and I had all my breeding cages inside the shed, that's classed as not outside in the open air, so I wouldn't need to register the birds. So again, like I said, it's a grey area. Also, I mentioned C.P.H. number, the County Parish Holding Number. Now, I'm not 100% sure on this, so let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong. But my understanding is, if you have a flock, if you've got over 50 birds, then you have to have a C.P.H. number as well when you go to register with A.P.H.A. I'm not under 50 birds, but I could be wrong.
If my mind serves me correctly, when you go online to register your birds, it will ask you for your C.P.H. number. If you don't have one, I think it creates one for you upon registry of your birds.
I don't know, but it is rather confusing. So just to recap, pretty much, my aviary, if you've got birds outside and you had an aviary and you had under 50 birds, was an issue. Now you've got under 50 birds, you still have to register them. It doesn't take long. Takes about 5-10 minutes online. Just go register your birds, your details, your address, like I said, your phone numbers, what birds you've got. End of story. Nothing has to change. The only time it does change is when you have to let, so I think you say for instance you've got 25 birds, you're allowed, if your bird stock, let's say, shifts more than 20% either way, you have to then let A.P.H.A know of the changes. If it's under 20% either way, you don't have to. So for instance, if you've got, say, 25 birds and you then, so your birds have babies and they increase by 20%, so you got 30 birds, you have to then let A.P.H.A know of the change.
Don't roast me for my maths on this. I think I'm right, but it was very late when I was recording this.
If I'm right. So there you go. I mean, it is confusing, but it's not. But it is law, and that came into effect on the 1st of October 2024. So if you haven't done it yet, and you do have birds that are exposed to the open air, then you need to register your birds. Because let me just make this quite clear. This is law, which means if you are caught, you could face a hefty fine or even some prison time. Nobody wants that. So hopefully that's cleared up, like the whole bird flu and registering them thing. So yeah, okay, going on to like what I was talking about originally. Number one, yes, I did, unfortunately, for some reason, I don't know what happened or why, but I lost 2 budgies. One was my baby blue budgie, which I spoke about in one of my videos previously, and then the next morning I came up and one of the green and yellow mutations had died as well. Now there's no marks in them. I don't know what happened. It wasn't cold, but it was, like I said, a little bit concerning because I was trying to sell these birds online, which I didn't really want to do, and I was concerned that the ones I had sold, well, they'd be dying. Is there something, you know, the birds seemed healthy enough, but you just never know. So it's really unfortunate because obviously I've not had a blue budgie for a long time, and I didn't want to sell that one. I kept it, and unfortunately it died. So I will be keeping an eye on them as much as I can, and hopefully I won't have no more problems. Going to the other day with the selling situation, right, so as you know, I've been trying to sell them on Pets for Homes, and it has just been a constant problem with so many people just asking some silly questions, and I don't think I'll ever do it again. I really don't. I think I'll probably just take the eggs out as it goes, so they don't. I'll take the boxes out and just leave it till next year. I don't want any more babies this year because I don't want that issue with trying to sell them online to people like this next person. So I was out yesterday and I had a message, like I have done on Pets for Home. Have you got any birds? Okay, yeah, I've got some birds. So swapped number with him, spoke to the guy. Clearly he'd never had birds before, so I basically said to him, like, you know, you need to get a cage and everything. I don't supply with cages. I'm a breeder, so you've got to supply that yourself. So, you know, it was going really well. I was going to go pet shop, I was going to get a cage and everything, which I did say to him, you know, speak to the pet shop. They'd advise you on the right size cage to have 2 budgies. Went and done that, not a problem. Messaged me back, said, can I come round and get birds? Which, you know, I'm a little bit like, you know, I want you to do a little bit of research first. You know, do your homework on some birds. Which he clearly didn't like that at all. Now, I'm not being funny, but I'm not going to, you can't just go and buy a cage and then all I'm asking is like, leave it till the next day, you know, watch a few YouTube videos, get some knowledge behind you, Google it, just do a bit of research to give you a head start as to when you get your bird the very next day. Didn't like that at all. You know, blame me for spending all his money on getting a cage and everything. He's going to go elsewhere. Now, I believe I've done the right thing. Do you know what I mean? I've got, you know, I'm not, you know, I'm glad now that I didn't sell them to him. But clearly someone probably will sell him some birds and not care. That person's not me. So anyway, just thought I'd fill you in. So there you go. End of video. Just obviously, you know, register your birds, even if you've only got 1 bird, or 50, or 150, 300 birds. Register them with A.P.H.A, and then everything's nice and simple. Even if you are Mrs. Smith and you got your budgie, you can't take it outside unless it's registered. So you may as well register your birds. It doesn't take long and it's free. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Helps me out. Turn your notifications on. Set the preferences to all that sort of jazz. Don't forget to like the video. Tells YouTube it's a good video. And I shall see you in the next one. In the meantime, if you want to watch another video, here you go. Here's a video. Here's a playlist. Do that. I shall see you soon. Goodbye.